that means I can't eat my muffin anymore. So let's do it. I'll move it off to the side.
We are now joined by a very, very special guest. He's actually a 3-time recurring guest of this podcast, which is a new record. It is Tampa Bay Rays relief pitcher extraordinaire, Pete Fairbanks, 3-timers club. We're getting jackets made if you want one. It's a big deal.
Is it a starter jacket? Or are we talking? What are we talking? Yeah. Are we talking like the old school like satin number with the cuffs?
It's gonna be an old school puffer starter jacket from the 90s.
Okay. All right, I'm in.
So look for that coming to your mailbox soon.
I would love that. Is it going to be like red, gold, and white with like the choppy shark bites on the side?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it.
It's elite.
I don't know where you're going to find one, but I know somebody that can embroider them if you do.
We should get starter jackets. That would be sick.
It'd be so cool.
Why people stop wearing those? This is great. 3 times on this podcast. One of our favorite guests. One of my favorite people. Lots happened since the last time we've had you on. I think it was like September of last year. So we have a lot to talk about.
A little bit. We don't have to work around like a 12-hour time change this time.
Ooh, yeah. This podcast it's not good with time differences. So you're in Central Time, we're in Eastern Time. I've had a guest or two that I've messed up because I didn't know Arizona was on not using daylight savings time. So
they apologies to Jake. Daylight savings time. It is on West Coast time right now.
Yep, didn't know that.
Doesn't make any sense.
Apologies to Jake Fraley. That one was tough. But you're here. Time zones are here. I want to let Kait start though, because we wanted to take it back, talk a little bit about Mizzou, Missouri Tigers. Mm-hmm. Do you say go Tigers? Or is that kind of LSU?
That's more LSU. I mean, I do say that, but that's more of LSU's improper spelling. Go. It's a little Frenchman down there.
Awesome. So I did a lot of digging. I got very excited because I saw that you played, obviously, Vanderbilt, SEC tournament. But I was remembering looking at that time, 2015, and I said, I feel like I know some big guys currently in the MLB that were on the team at the time. So I look at the box score. Mm-hmm. I'm like, wow, we're getting really, really back in time. But Dansby Swanson, Brian Reynolds, both on the team at the time. So you faced them. I just kind of want to hear, like, what was that like? And especially being in college, when you look at a player up to that type of caliber, are you like, these guys are definitely going to the pros? Like, did they really show something during that time? Just take us through that experience.
Yeah, I mean, Dansby was very good. I think, I'm not sure if Reynolds is a year or 2 years younger, so he wasn't necessarily – because it kind of like, once you get into scripts, the buzz is around the juniors, right? It's about the guys that are draft eligible that are going to go. And obviously, at the time, just being on the pitching side of things, I was more interested in watching like Buehler and Fulmer throw, right? Because they were incredible in college. Carson Fulmer was maybe the most dominant arm I've ever seen at the collegiate level. It was, I mean, and I just talking about this a couple weeks ago in the bullpen. He could have told our guys, he was like, hey, breaking ball, fastball. Still wouldn't have hit it. It was his 2 starts against us in 14 and 15 were some of the most incredible things I've ever seen. But yeah, that team was super, super talented. That was probably the best college baseball team I think of a long time, and they didn't win. They won the year before when I thought they had the worst of their 3 teams that they had when we played against them. Yeah, I mean, just the overall talent in the league that year, I think that was pretty high because you had Dansby go 1. I think Bredman went 2nd that year. And there was a ton of talent in the league. And yeah, they had 3 first-rounders. You don't really see that. That's pretty. I guess you saw it this year with LSU. They had. Do they have 2 or 3?
They had 2.
I think they had 2. They had two of the first 2 picks were both from LSU, Cruz and the Skeens guy.
Didn't their first baseman go in the first round too?
No, because we drafted him, and that was later on, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So yeah, that team was very good, and I never beat Vanderbilt, even though I had a sub-2 against them in my career.
I would say you pitched phenomenal against them, which was insane. So
It's a sore
is that
subject.
like
So
just you just live up to the pressure, I guess?
yeah, I mean, one of my buddies, Tyler Ferguson, was in his wedding. He was in mine, and still gives me shit about it. They would never, and it was like we're talking just comical ways to lose. So yeah, we kind of shot ourselves in the foot and went 0 and like 13 against them over 3 years. It was horrible.
Big Mizzou guy, but do you have a favorite memory from college during that time? Obviously, you did great against Vanderbilt, but anything like really stand out to you?
Yeah, I mean, baseball wise, I had a start against Tennessee that was probably my best performance as a starter at any level. Well, maybe not any level, but at the higher levels. So I'd probably say that was good. And cannot, I cannot stand the Tennessee Volunteers.
Really? Is there any specific reason why?
Oh, there's a lot of reasons that I don't need to get into. Let's just say that I hold no love in my heart for the Knoxville state school known as the Volunteers. I have no love for them at all.
So probably definitely top moment for you. And
Yeah, they're like, it's Kansas and then it's Tennessee in terms of just irrational dislike on my end.
Any controversy during the games, like anyone going back and forth?
Their old head coach, I can't think of his name. I remember us having some, not me specifically, but just like team wise having some disputes. They hit a few of our guys repetitively up and in. So yeah, there's no love lost there between me and the Volunteers. Not that I know anybody. The only guy I know that went there, I'm friends with. So
Right.
does it make sense? No. Do I still dislike the Vols? Yes.
There's no place for that. There's no place for hitting guys. I've always said that. You can't. Not in this day. Not in this day and age. Can't do it.
I mean, I'll accidentally hit you, but yeah, anything near the head is dangerous. Sucks.
And then when you transitioned to the bullpen, what kind of was that process like, and what were some of like the biggest challenges that you had?
Let's see. So I was rehabbing, and I said, "Am I going to throw more than 40 in this progression to the bullpen for this?" I was like, "All right, here we go." And then, honestly, like I wouldn't say that necessarily was a challenge, but and especially like because that year that I had to realize when I first started throwing out of the pen exclusively, it was pretty scheduled because I was coming off surgery. And so I had basically up until my time in AAA and when I debuted was all pretty much scheduled. So I would say more so was just getting used to, throwing back to back, etc. And that came a little bit later on that year. That just the making sure that you're ready to go every day and the days that you're up, you're doing everything that you need to do to be ready to throw.
Right. And then from like a mental standpoint, because as a starter, you're pretty much ready, game one, obviously, you go through your whole pregame routine. Now it's kind of delayed a little bit because now you're doing it in the bullpen. How did you kind of get adjusted, acclimated towards that? Or is it like fourth inning, if you're pitching that day, you're mentally trying to get set?
I try to not be mentally ready until later on. Like it depends. Obviously, it depends, what your role is and what you're doing and how what kind of prep you do to get ready. I've seen guys that don't do a ton. I've seen guys that are moving basically the whole time that they're in the bullpen. It really is more of a personal thing, dependent on what you feel like you need to do. But I don't think that. Like it really depends on like when you're throwing. Like if you're an early guy, you might do stuff pregame, be ready to go in case the starter gets in trouble. Whereas if you're more of a back end guy, you have that time, the first 5 or 6 to, get the body right, feel like you're ready to go, get out there, do what you need to do, be it weighted balls, bands, etc. And then be ready to go.
I remember we interviewed Colin Thurrow, the Yankees bullpen catcher, and he said, personality wise, like Wandy could be joking around until the moments he gets on the mound. But he said Clay Holmes, if he knows he's going in, like is not talking to anyone. He's standing in the corner. He's locked in. Where do you fall in that type? Like, can you still joke around, have some fun, or are you completely zoned in?
No, I have found that I don't like to be zoned in
Okay.
for more than I do like the half inning before I know I'm gonna get my name called. Just because I I don't need necessarily that, like, I don't need to be in that headspace, right? The switch flips
Mhm.
pretty fast for me.
Okay.
So the more that I'm able to not put myself in a stress situation in order to, feel like I'm loose and relaxed and ready to go into that stress situation, I've found is a lot better for how I want to operate.
Nice. Justin, you want to jump in?
Yeah, no, I was looking back because the MLB trade deadline's next week, and I
Mhm.
want to take you back to July 13th, 2019, when the Rangers traded you to Tampa. I don't think we've ever talked about this. What emotions were going through your head? This is like the organization that drafted you. You came up through the system, and then you're a rookie. You're 8 games in, and then they trade you away. So what was that kind of experience like for you to get traded midseason like that?
Um, yeah, let's see. Let me go back to that one. I was definitely confused. I had actually made a comment earlier on that year. I was like, well, they're gonna have to trade somebody at some point, just given at the time that I made this comment, I was assuming that one of us was going to get traded. It was Joe Barlow, DeMarcus Evans, Clase, and me in a high eight bullpen. And I was like, I would be very surprised if all of us are here, like by the end of the year. Um, and then, I think that for me, it turned out to be great. I was definitely confused at first, but as I talked to Eric, I talked to Cash, I talked to Snides basically right after I got traded, and to have them lay out what they did for me and why they, A, wanted to acquire me, B, what the plans were going forward, et cetera, made it an easier, switch for me. And then obviously you have to get reacclimated to, in that case, I think it was my fifth different clubhouse that I had been in so far that year. Um, but that was the first one where you really don't know anybody. So that it definitely took more, for me, it was more of, getting back and acclimating myself to another um, different social climate than it was, the baseball side of things. That was um, the easy part. And obviously you go out and make the adjust. I made the adjustments that they brought to me and have been able to, throw the ball pretty well since then. But yeah, I was definitely confused when I did not answer. I'm pretty sure Daniels called me and I was in bed, didn't recognize the numbers, put my phone down, and I got a text that, hey, this is John Daniels, you need to call me. I was like, I'm getting traded.
Oh no. That's what I wanted to ask you about, because like walking into the Rays clubhouse for the very first time, it's probably pretty intimidating to have to learn to, like, you have to figure out where new stuff is, new people, like making new connections. Like, did the Rays make it easy on you for that transition time?
Uh, yeah, so I went to Durham first, and that was pretty easy. I played with one of the guys, Gabo, in summer ball up in Cape Cod. So I knew him, and then it's all, everybody knows somebody that you've known or played with, et cetera. So that makes it easy. In terms of, yeah, the Rays clubhouse was definitely, I would say, easier to acclimate to than Texas was at first, just given the personnel that were there, et cetera. And it was very, and still is to the, I don't think it's ever really changed, but like with us, like the bullpen guys look out for, hang out with, et cetera, with the bullpen guys. So you always kind of have, seven guys who are going to be there for you. And so that makes it pretty easy, I think.
Absolutely. For guys getting traded this summer, though, like, would you have any advice for mid-season trade guys?
Um, I mean, it depends on who's getting traded, right? I don't think I have any for the, for the big name guys that are still, in that trade rumors limbo. What do I have to, tell them, right? You know what I mean? Um, but no, I would say that in 99% of the times you are going to a place where you are valued higher than you were before. And I think that in itself makes it, the grass might not be greener, but I mean, at least it will be for a little bit. You know what I mean? To where you're going in and they're going to value you and they're going to give you that opportunity, to succeed, since they went out and, obviously value you for, an asset to acquire for somebody that they already had, et cetera. So yeah, it's a definitely an interesting time where you can just be uprooted with no say. But in my case, it was my like fifth clubhouse, sixth team of the year, so it was easy enough to to reacclimate.
What about buying versus renting? I feel like this is a big time of year. Would you recommend, like, how did you handle the living situation through all of that? And then have you, obviously 3-year extension, congrats. I'm assuming you have some permanent roots down now, but was that hard going hotel to hotel?
Let's see. I think I can give you all of my living situations from 2019. I was in an apartment in Greenville, North Carolina, and that was like a month to month rental. So that was easy enough. Somebody just slid into that once I got called up. I was in Frisco for like 3.5 weeks, but we were on the road for half of it. So I was in a hotel for like 3 days, went on the road, moved into an air mattress in the living room of somebody's place, went back on the road, came back for like a day, got sent to Nashville. Nashville, I was in a hotel for like 2 days, and then I was actually living in Dansby's apartment there for like a week, and then I got traded. So yeah, I spent a lot of time in a bunch of random spots, and then after that, I get traded. We are on the road, come back, get Andrew Kittredge's number, text him, move into his apartment that was that Stash, who's the club in Durham, had the keys to. So yeah, minor league housing, at least then. I don't know what it's like with the new rules that are in place, but yeah, I was more or less couch surfing and hopping in apartment sitting for basically a year. So yeah, I mean, it depends. Like obviously your minor league guy situations when they are traded for, let's suppose somebody gets traded for Lance Lynn, right? Obviously the guys that get traded for him, their situations are going to be different than the guy who's on that contract who probably has a house which can be moved, in the off season, et cetera. It's not as big of a immediate type thing as it is for the guys who are having to flop from, I don't know, where give me some guys who are going from Round Rock or Frisco, to where is there? Are they in Birmingham still? I don't know where the White Sox Double A and or Triple A's in Charlotte. So yeah,
Yeah.
it depends. It's all in this hypothetical scenario. It's probably harder on them than it would be on Lance.
I just love that. Yeah, people don't talk enough about that. Just like the logistical side of players, like, or even we had Anthony Kay on who was pitched for the Blue Jays for a while, and I was just like, what was that like getting like a passport? It's like never had one. So yeah, there's just
Never had
weird
a
things
passport.
like he didn't have a
Yeah,
passport.
a passport.
You might I feel like that's something you might want, just at some point in your life, maybe a passport.
Well, I don't have one. I don't have a cool $150 burning a hole in my pocket. So it's like, why would I need to go and get one?
That's fair. You never wanted to, don't want to go take a Cabo weekend or anything? It's not on your priority list?
I think I might dip my toe in the water, maybe start at Niagara Falls, just to like.
It is better on the
get
Canadian side.
Close.
It's better on the Canadian side, so you're still going to need a passport.
Exactly. So I feel like that would be kind of my foray into international travel. I don't want to just go insert myself into like Morocco or something. You got to go start small and then.
Well, yeah, no one's asking you to go, traverse through Northern Africa. That's probably not your first step.
Be hard, yeah.
Yeah, I would say maybe start in North America. Maybe go to like a resort. Maybe go all inclusive where you can still speak a lot of English.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Maybe go to Toronto. That's a good place to go. It's a great city. I don't know if Anthony Kay touched on any of Toronto, but Toronto is a fantastic city.
I like it.
It's always
Yeah.
it is on the top of my places that we go every year.
Do you have a favorite?
Probably Toronto. I would say
okay.
it's awesome. Yeah, Toronto's great. I really like Boston. Yeah, I'd say those two are definitely up there. It's always nice to go play the Angels so you can meander on down to Huntington and Newport and get a nice little refresh. Except it's always in the summer, so it's never the ideal time to go there, but it's usually still pretty good.
Ooh, this is good. Okay, because I wanted to ask you about this eventually, but we're already kind of here. The travel series that you did with the Rays, when you and Jason Adam were walking around Seattle, was one of my favorite things.
Yes.
I talked to you a little bit about this, but like, take me through what are the things when you go to a road city, what are some of the things you look for? Are you getting the Google Maps out and you're like, I want to hit a coffee shop, a thrift, like
Yeah, I
a
mean that's
sneaker
it.
shop?
It's 100%. It is first and foremost. It is coffee. Um, then depends on what I'm trying to do. If they have something that I know, like that city is known for, and I know I want to do it, I will. Like last year when we were in Houston, our Justin Sua, awesome, got us set up with NASA. So we went out and toured um, the Space Center down here, which was still probably my favorite thing that I've gotten to do as a result of playing baseball that is off the field. That was spectacular. So yeah, depends on like what the city is known for. I would like to go find a card shop around here. I actually passed one little comics and games shop, maybe pick up a couple collectibles. But yeah, I know like and then there obviously those are the ones that you go to so much that you know what you're going to do. Right. So I know when we go to New York, I'm going to go to Black Fox, probably going to walk through the Lego store because I'm bored. Um, maybe go find a flight club or something else like that. Well, yeah, I would like to. I wish that we didn't stay in Midtown every time we go to New York, but we stay in Midtown every time we go to New York, and so you don't get as much of a chance to go explore the boroughs. But what can you do?
Yeah, I was going to ask that. I was wondering where you stayed when you play at Yankee Stadium, or if you go to the Mets, if you stay in the city. But I guess okay, Midtown.
Yes, right in the heart of Midtown, and for someone who is a fast walker, regardless of if they are a local or not. I hate Midtown.
It's tough. It's a tough place to be.
I hate it so much. Just feel like I'm constantly walking. There was one, actually, this was in Chicago, but I mean, I kid you not, there was probably a group of like 60 middle and high schoolers there on a school trip, just standing right in the fucking middle of the sidewalk. I'm like, you guys you need to move. There are people trying to walk here. You cannot just stand here and congregate in a group of 60. So, yeah.
Yeah. Especially in a city like New York or Chicago, I feel like the range of people, some are going to knock you over and walk. And then there are people that are just literally looking up at all the skyscrapers.
Just straight gawking. Well, that's a tall building. Yeah, it's tall. You saw it on the plane in. It may look taller, but you can look up, register how tall it is, and keep going to where you need to go.
It's true. It's tough.
I hate it.
What about Baltimore? Do you ever revisit the site where, didn't you tell us a story about you guys used to throw shit into the harbor? Do you ever just go revisit some of those landmarks?
No, that was from the hotel though, so I didn't actually have to leave to watch that one happen.
Okay.
Yeah, that one was that. I do like Baltimore, but it's so insufferably humid whenever we go there that I try to not go to many places.
Same thing with DC. A DC summer will just zap you of all energy and will to live with the humidity. So
yeah,
that's. We went to. It was pretty cool when we went there, which was nice. I got to. We went and walked around some of the tourist things, which was. I've seen them before. They are what they are. It's pretty impressive how freaking big Abe Lincoln is, but
yeah,
that's
like the whole balanced schedule thing though, because like the American League and National League, I feel like you guys are playing like teams that you wouldn't ordinarily play. Do you enjoy that? Not just from like the travel perspective, but just like the getting the experience to play teams that you don't normally get to play?
Yeah, I think it's I know the NFL does. I know the NBA does, and I obviously love basketball. That's my all my aspirations in life. It didn't really work out, but here I am. Yeah, I think that it's great for people getting to see teams that they normally wouldn't. And I think that in itself is good for, the marketing of baseball. Is so you have these, like if you're, say you're Seattle, right? You don't, you don't get to see like a Harper every year or some of your other National League guys unless you're playing, that division. So it's nice for them, to have all the big names in baseball. They are coming to your city. If not this year, they're coming next year, right? And if you want to go see, if you're 11-year-old Jimmy who loves, I don't know, Mookie Betts. And, obviously, say if Jimmy's from Baltimore, Jimmy probably saw him with the Red Sox. But, if he was only like 7 at the time, the Dodgers are coming to town. You get to see, your favorite player. I think that is great for the game, and it's great for fans and kids and, everybody that would love to see that wants to see, their guys play. They now get a chance to every other year, basically.
I love it. Yeah, especially because it probably gets old playing, because what was the old way you used to play everybody in the division like 18 or 19 times a year?
19 times.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
Felt like every time you left, you were going to a city on the Eastern Seaboard. And now it's not as much the case, which is not. I think it's, you still get that same, kind of thing because you're playing them, 8 more times than you are any other, team in your own league and 10 more than you are teams on the other side. But yeah, 19 games against the same 4 other teams. Yeah, it was a lot. I'm glad that they made that switch. I think that one is going to be a very beneficial one for the game.
The Rays can't beat up on the Orioles anymore. That was a big.
No, the Orioles are good. Let's not discredit the Orioles. The Orioles are very good.
Well, when they were bad, it was tough because I feel like there was one year Tampa might have won all.
I actually had somebody from the what's the main paper in Baltimore?
Baltimore Sun?
Yeah, probably. I think it was the Sun. Some guy asked me about their turnaround. I was like, they were never like that bad. Right. They just spent a full year shooting themselves in the foot against us. Like there were multiple times in 21 where we were losing after the 6th. I would say 4 or 5 at least, where we were losing after the 6th. And just Murphy's lawed it against us. And if it could happen, it happened, and it was bad.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. That was a tough time in my life personally, but we made it through. Yeah, well, we're better now.
Here you are. You made it through.
Yeah. You could celebrate now, Dustin. It's a good time for you.
I have one last Orioles question. I'll let Kait ask whatever she wants. How do you prepare for a team like the Orioles? Like what do the pre-game meetings look like? Their lineup is obviously really, really stacked. You have to play them 4 more times before the end of the year. Like what do you think makes the Orioles so good this year?
That's a good question. I think they're good at getting a lead and handing the ball to fielders. So yeah, they score early. They put together good at bats. I think that they're obviously Cedric Mullins is. I think it was a groin that he came down with, and that obviously is a blow. He's a very, very good player. But yeah, it's a good lineup, and the pitching has caught up to the lineup from a couple years ago, which is good to see if you're an Orioles fan. Not as good to see if you're us or any other team that they happen to be playing. But yeah, they are a good team. They throw it well. They take care of the ball for the most part, just like you're supposed to. They play good baseball, and they have some pretty good arms that can preserve a lead.
Back end, yeah, Cano and Bautista. That's as a pitcher, do you just like look across there and you're like, I respect that?
Yeah, I love watching good pitching. Now, does it translate to a little more frustration when you're on the receiving end of it? Yeah, but I mean the guy's impressive.
It's the mountain. Okay, Kait, I've talked for a while. What would you like to? What do you got?
Yeah, 18 minutes by the count of the track up there. Though half of it was probably me, so it's not all you.
Yeah, that's all right. Thanks, Justin. But yeah, Orioles, fun team. Young, love to watch them. But I kind of want to talk about you guys. Started off really hot, 30 home runs in your first 12 games. Absolutely insane. I think you guys went 23 wins in your first 29 games. Absolutely
something like that.
Unreal. What was that stretch like? And what do you credit that to being so successful without saying that the strength of schedule wasn't as great?
I think the strength of anybody that complains about strength of schedule, you still have to go play.
Yes.
Right. It's not like you don't get to look at the schedule and be like, say if I'm at Mizzou, I can't be like, oh, we're playing, Northeastern Missouri State today. That's a win. Like you don't get to just automatically check that one off in the win column, right? That's not how sports work.
Yeah.
So you still have to go win. And I have never seen a lineup be collectively as hot as those guys were for us. And it was one of the most impressive, just hot streaks I've ever seen out of a lineup. And so, yeah, it was a lot of fun. I did not pitch much during that stretch. I think I threw like 4 or 5 times. It was impressive, very impressive. And I would love if we recaptured a little bit of that hot streak here, maybe not. Maybe we can get a few more in the win column in July and recreate that hot streak over the next month. But yeah, that was I've never seen anything like it. I probably will never see anything like it again. It was just wild to watch, and you went up just assuming that if somebody got on, he was probably going to score.
Yeah. I mean, just the confidence, I feel like that came. Do you think just the momentum when you're on that type of streak, you just feel like, yeah, no one's going to beat us, because even if you're down, you think that you guys can come back. You've done it so many times before.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know how many. I think we only had like 2 or 3 like legitimate comebacks during that stretch. They were just bludgeoning people from the first on. I think we had one. We were down 2, I think, in Washington, and I'm pretty sure we won by 4. They put up like 6 in the ninth. It was like, yeah, I think that was the only distinct like comeback that I can remember through that stretch. And then we obviously had a 1-run game against the Sox where Beelau hit a homer in the 8th to go ahead. Yeah, that it wasn't even like there was like 1 or 2 comebacks. It was a legitimate just bludgeoning for that stretch.
We interrupt this episode to bring you a word from the official sponsor of Not For Long Media and the Breaking Bats podcast, the original Fudge Kitchen. It is a staple of the Jersey Shore with 6 locations in Cape May, Wildwood, North Wildwood, Stone Harbor, and Ocean City. The original Fudge Kitchen makes all of their fudge in store, guaranteeing a delicious product, so stop by and let them know that Not For Long Media and Breaking Bats sent you. Check them out online at fudgekitchens.com as they are shipping fudge and sweet treats all across the country. Now back to the episode.
Insane. And obviously in July, a little bit of a rough patch. What do you think has been the hardest part about this month so far?
The hardest part about losing a lot is probably losing a lot, I would say. Losing sucks. I don't know if you guys know this or not. It's not fun to lose in anything. Yeah, it's a grind, and it's something that you hope you come out better for. Every team, you just have to weather it, and you weather, to microcosm it and say it's one game. You weather the run as if it were a basketball game, and that's really drinking water at very inappropriate times. But you have to weather the runs, be it good or bad, and take that for what it is. So yeah, we kind of opened up the game on a pretty good run, hitting some shots early, and kind of cooled off here start of the third quarter. So hopefully, maybe put together more of a Warriors third quarter to end that and kind of get back on a little hot streak.
Absolutely. But I have to say, Tampa Bay Rays might be my favorite team. You guys just look like you have so much fun. I mean, the thing the other day with Kevin Kelly dressing up as a cowboy, that was fantastic. I was all over Twitter. I thought that was phenomenal. Just what are the clubhouse vibes
that's
like?
For Kevin, when Beekman asks you to do something, you need to do it. Okay? We're just going to get that out there in the world. Kevin was supposed to go with some people to Boot Barn and pick out a nice pair of boots, maybe a belt buckle and a hat, and Kevin did not show up. So there's that, and then he might have missed a game for a wedding, so that's how Kevin ended up dressed up as a cowboy.
Guys, so, repercussions. I
we
like the
definitely
repercussions.
Have a lot of fun. And I always say, and we were talking about that. I was hanging out with some guys last night. We were talking about how like all the personality and character, like a lot of the time is in the bullpen, and that's not necessarily, what gets showcased by anybody. So it was nice to be able to expose a little bit of the shenanigans to the world, and to see Kevin Kelly in whitewash Wranglers.
Best video I saw all day.
Yep.
Is there like a kangaroo court that like gets together and like decides the punishments for these things?
No, I haven't seen a true kangaroo court since We did one in rehab that was pretty funny, and that was in 17. But yeah, I haven't really seen a true one of those since the minor leagues. More of, for us at least, it's more or less an incessant trash talk between basically in the entirety of the pitching, not necessarily the entirety of the pitching staff, but like the whole bullpen, right? Is just we're just chirping each other 24/7, and that's part of the dynamic. We have a great time with it. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, the bullpen is not for those with thin skin. At least our bullpen.
That's fantastic. One thing that I haven't gotten a chance to talk to you about, and it's become kind of hot in the streets when it comes to you this year, maybe even a little bit last year too, was it's how do you pronounce it? Raynaud syndrome?
Raynaud's, yes.
Raynaud syndrome. It's come up a lot. I still don't fully understand what it is. Could you describe kind of like what it is, and like when did you first notice that this was a thing?
So basically, it is a neurological response to cold, adrenaline, stress, etc., where the capillaries basically don't refresh in your fingers. So you basically lose blood flow to it and they go white. And mine typically is I'll go, like, if I get it bad, they'll go white and I'll start losing sensation in a couple of them, which I can overcome via certain ways. I have some meds for it, etc. Some are like, there's significantly worse cases where like they turn purple and they like hurt like bad. So yeah, it's a fun little condition. But I've had been meeting with oh my gosh, I can't think of the proper name for the speciality of it. But yeah, I've seen a doc for it. I'm on a couple different meds that are supposed to be basically prevent it's called what I'm on right now is called a calcium channel blocker, and that um basically doesn't let your circulatory system like pick up as much blood, so it remains there longer, which I found is very helpful in my case.
So how does it react to the cold weather? Because I always hear that that's a thing. There was the game against the Mets this year.
No, Mets I was fine. That one I just happened to give up an absolute tater to Mr. Alonso. This is White Sox is what you're thinking of. So basically, you get cold, like body temperature lowers, right? And then like that first response for me at least is I start losing the blood in my hand. And it just depends. It's entirely random. I know people who have it in their other hand. My mom had it for years. Basically, it just gets cold and it just stops, refreshing as much, and you stop getting the flow through the capillaries, and then you end up without feeling in your fingers.
And I know you've said that you won't use it as an excuse or a crutch or anything whenever you're pitching in cold weather. But yeah, Kait and I did want to talk about just like the after the game interviews that you do. They're fantastic. They're always must see TV. My favorite was the Mets one because you said you were the lesser Pete, but you're the number one Pete in our hearts. How do you approach post game conversations? I feel like there's been a couple of those that have gone viral, but like, how do you approach those?
Well, first, normally they only ever talk to you if things have gone poorly, right? So I normally have a little bit of a cool down phase. You all right?
Yeah.
So I have a little bit of a cool down phase before I, get there. And then, I just try and be myself. And obviously I I wouldn't say that I'm extremely witty, but I'm able to come up with some good commentary usually on the spot. I would say it's not usually premeditated. Nothing is premeditated. I don't really live my life on a premeditated basis. So yeah, it just kind of was wherever the questions lead me, and whatever it kind of pops into my head is an appropriate response, or sometimes inappropriate. You just never know.
Kait?
Yeah, I mean, the one I saw recently, I literally tweeted out. I said, I think I just became Pete Fairbanks fan, but saw a negative comment on social media after the game, trying to look at a text from your wife. Obviously, on the losing end of the bullpen, not a fun place to be. Are you on social media? Because I'm curious. I remember like Joe Burrow came out and said, I don't even look at it during the season. IKF last year said, I've read every single tweet a Yankee fan has said about me, which is insanity. So I'm just curious, like, is it something that you're on? Or
yeah, I mean, I definitely don't get off social media because I really don't care. Like,
Yeah.
you can say what you want. I don't care. Right. This one I thought was maybe not the most appropriate response. I'm just, it was like the first thing that popped up when I'm trying to go to the things that I care about. Right. Um, but no, I really don't give a shit what
Okay.
um these people that don't, one, know me, and two, you're entitled to your opinion. I think that just the commentary that surrounds um just sports and performance and all these people who aren't the ones involved with it or doing it. I think that sports betting has been horrible for that, because they now think that they're entitled to. No, it's called a fucking bet for a reason, right? It would be a sure thing if it it wouldn't be betting, right? If you knew the outcome and everything, that every line that Vegas set was perfect, right? You would not be betting anymore. But yeah, I think that has just entitled people to think that they have the ability to say whatever they want to whoever they want. And then obviously with social media, you can now reach these people that you would never be able to otherwise, right? So that's its own um, kind of double-edged sword of, right, you have the connection, it's cool, you now get to engage with, the athletes or whoever you want basically on the internet. But I think it also, is kind of a negative when you have these people that think that they're entitled to tell you things about you, etc. Like if you want to criticize, I'm all for, you have a mouth or fingers in this case, you can use it on X or whatever the fuck Elon Musk is trying to call Twitter now. Use it, right? Go shout in your echo chamber. Tell us we suck, etc. Maybe don't tell people to kill themselves. That might be just a thought that might not be the most appropriate response to you not hitting your 17 leg parlay that probably wasn't going to hit, right? Because it's 17 legs. And maybe there's more responsible ways to try and make a little extra money. But yeah, it is what it is. These people can say what they want, and uh they don't really have the ability to contact me. So the people that have my number, I forgot who I said this to. I was on TikTok. I think it was a Tom Holland
Yep.
quoting Christian Bale, who I now have quoted since then. It's like, if you have a problem with me, text me. And if you can't text me, like, does it matter? You're not obviously in the circle of people that, we care about, or, and that goes for everybody. It is what it is. And that's, you're not like, cool, you lost your money on a parlay because I blew a safe. Tough. Don't put your money in a parlay.
I really agree. I think the betting thing, it's kind of similar to that like parasocial relationship. I think that's the word, that they think they're like too connected to the players, and just at the end of the day, you're not. And they're also just people too. But it's like the double-edged sword. Like, one, you're way too connected to them, but also you need to keep in mind that they're actually a human being and not just somebody that you can just say whatever you want about.
Yes, shout out to the Swifties and Maddie Healy for that one. Shout out to Taylor Swift's lunatics that love her and think that, come on, like, you can't have say over. And that one is even, I nobody cares about us, you're right. But like the people that are like trying to bully her into making her life decisions because they saw a BuzzFeed article about somebody and don't like it. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, is that where we're at? Is just the collective hive mind? Is my favorite singer has been entangling with somebody that I don't like, so I'm going to go try and defame him and yell at her via socials that I don't like the decision. Like, come on, we got to do better than that, just as a whole.
Yeah, that was the open letter to Taylor Swift. I'm curious if you saw on Twitter an open letter to Pete Fairbanks. Sincerely, the Rays community.
No, I do not. I don't have Twitter, right? The world would be a worse place if I have Twitter, because I
disagree.
If I had Twitter, I would go about it Kevin Durant style, and I would just be throwing out strays to anybody and everybody. I don't think that, like, I know that that's not something I need to do, right? Yeah, that. So, no, I don't like talking about me. So I think that I know that there was, because my wife will hop on and look at stuff, and I don't really care. So she'll tell me if there's anything that she finds funny. But yeah, back to my. So I'm a huge 1975 fan, right? Also a big Taylor Swift fan, reasonable Taylor Swift fan. Don't give a shit what she does in her personal life, right?
Yes.
So that and one of my wife's high school classmates who I'm friends with now via her, she's great. We have, as Lid says, we're basically the same person, just in opposite genders, which
That's
is pretty
awesome.
funny. So she huge music fan. So we would all our my TikToks for like 3 weeks just strictly turned into people either defaming Maddie Healy or
Yep.
telling Taylor Swift that she's a fool. I'm like, what
Yep.
are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah. There was did you get to go to the Eras tour? You get tickets?
Oh, let me tell you about that. Pretty upset about it. So she was in Tampa,
Yes.
and we had a game in Toronto the next day. And I don't know if you've gone through, Justin. I know this is not for you. You've never gone through customs. I don't know if you've gone through customs before. Customs suck, and I did not want to go on a commercial flight through customs and then try and get to the ballpark, so I missed that one.
It's tough.
Yeah, I will be seeing the 1975 when they come to. I will either see them in Baltimore or I will see them in Amalie, depending on our schedule.
That's awesome. They're phenomenal. They put on a good show.
Oh, they're incredible. I saw them after I Like It When You Sleep Because You Are So Beautiful Yet So Unaware. What an incredible album title.
Yes.
And they were fantastic.
Do you have a favorite song by them?
I have a favorite song. Let me go. I have to.
My
I'm presently on a Spotify moratorium because
Me too.
apparently my card changed and I don't have premium anymore, so I gotta go. Right now, I'm using my free. I have like 3 months free of Apple Music because I just got a new iPad. So I've transitioned to that for the time being until I either get set up with a family account with Lid, or if I just re-up my new one because I want access to my playlists and I don't want to have to use Apple Music.
We've been trying to do Pete's playlist on here for a while, so this is good.
Yeah, I do need to do that. I gotta figure. I would say, why can't I look at the freaking album tracks if I don't have that is a pain in my ass. I don't know if I can give you a favorite. I can give you a favorite from each album.
Oh, wow. Oh, you're like a hardcore 1975 fan.
Oh, they're my favorite band by far.
Wow.
I'm all in on the 1975.
Nice. Their newest album.
Loved it.
Phenomenal.
Loved
Phenomenal.
it. It was the most cohesive of the ones that they've done, and I thought it was excellent.
Agreed.
Why can't I find their albums? Apple Music is just a foreign concept to me.
It's not good.
It's tough.
I think, and I don't know if I'm just wrong or whatnot, but I think to me, the sound quality when I listen to Apple Music versus Spotify is better.
Really?
However, their user interface is a million times worse.
Yeah.
Off of the self-titled 1975, I would probably say Robbers. I think that overall is the best song on that album.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, I would say that's probably the best song on the album. Hard Out's pretty good too, though. I do like that song. I do like that a lot. Justin, are you a 1975 guy, or am I just gonna?
And Justin's just sitting here. We're like,
are you just?
No, you guys are.
No.
No, I'm not a big 1975 guy. I mean, they're cool. I'm just fascinated. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a great social experiment. Just the either love or hatred you have for their frontman. It is incredible, polarizing. Some would say.
I guess I stay with the Swifties on that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I don't think it's as bad as that, but yeah, it's something. Let's see.
The Swifties took it a little far.
Justin? Are you a Taylor Swift guy at least?
No, he's a John Mayer guy.
No, I'm a John Mayer guy.
Oh my gosh.
Awful.
Hardcore. I saw him live.
Hey, I respect that. I respect that. John Mayer is an incredible musician. Let's not.
The things he can do with the guitar.
Let's not detract from him being an incredible musician just because some people don't like him. And he was, how old was he? Like 32, something like that.
Yeah.
But you got to separate the personal
art from the artist.
Yes. Well, not necessarily art from the artist, but like our opinions don't matter on their personal lives. Let's just get that PSA out for everybody.
I saw him live, the solo tour in Pittsburgh. It was the greatest concert experience of my life. It was just him, a guitar. He played the guitar and the piano at the same time. Let your mind get wrapped around that for a second.
Yeah, that doesn't seem possible, but was he using like his teeth to like
his toes.
I think, yeah. It was I was just mesmerized. Your Body is a Wonderland came on, I blacked out. It was great. So
that's good.
What's your favorite John Mayer song?
Stop This Train.
Stop This Train. Never heard of it. Is it off? Is it old? Is it old John Mayer or is it hippie John Mayer?
It's old John Mayer. I think it's on Continuum. Continuum's my favorite album of all time, like regardless of artist. But yeah, that one's it's just I don't know, it makes you feel things. Talks about getting older. I don't know. You just get all weird nostalgia sometimes. Makes you feel things. People that don't have hearts feel things when they listen to Stop This Train.
Yeah.
We're all getting older, Pete. Every single one of us.
That is true. Entropy. It's a real thing.
You can't stop this train.
Yeah, you also can't stop entropy. It's always created constantly. You can never take away from it. Thermodynamics.
This is well, when you get your Spotify back, please let us know.
Yeah, isn't this way more fun than talking about like actual sports?
Yes.
I did.
Justin's like, no, I want to get back to it.
I have sports questions.
I'd have another sports question. I'm just gonna do a hard pivot if that's cool.
Yeah, hard pivot.
Just not remotely related to what we were just talking about.
Go ahead.
I saw that you have a third pitch. Again, this is the hardest. This is the worst podcasting of all time. Apologies.
That's okay. I actually prefer. I would much rather be bouncing off the walls than like follow a very strict. Because as you know, I was a former podcaster, and I was an excellent bounce off the walls type guy.
Oh,
I think it's more fun. Yeah, it's unpredictable. Hey, wild card. Here's a wild card question for you, Pete.
Mm-hmm.
You're a fastball slider guy, but I saw you also have a splitter. You only throw it against lefties.
It's a changeup.
Baseball Savant says splitter.
Yeah, I fucking throw it.
It's fair.
Okay. Well, whatever you want to call it, whatever the pitch is. How did you start working on it? Because like,
I've always thrown it. I just don't throw it. I've thrown it for 4 years. I just throw it at a minuscule, like percentage, because I look at it as I don't want to get beat with my third best pitch, regardless that it's good. Like, would be very good if I threw it for strikes and threw it more. But like, it still would be my third best of the pitches that I throw. So my thought is, why get beat with my third best pitch? So if there's a scenario, right, where I feel like I have the liberty to throw it, I will. But in crunch time, I'm probably not throwing it. That's why it's at like 0.01%.
Yeah, and it's only against lefties too. Is that a conscious decision? Like, is that
out
pitch?
I mean, maybe if I'm in a low leverage like 4-run lead, and maybe I'll throw right on right. But it's good when I throw it. I just don't throw it a ton. It actually kind of serves like warm up wise. It serves as like it gets me like back into myself, which I think is nice. In terms of like extension and feeling like I'm throwing how I need to be. So yeah, it's a fun little thing that I have stored away in the bag for. I keep telling myself I'm going to throw it, and then I keep throwing fastball, breaking ball, and they keep getting better. And I'm like, well, I can't just throw this worst pitch just because I want to mix it up more.
It would catch people so off guard, though.
I know, and it does. I just happened the two that I've thrown this year, I threw like straight down into the ground. Not that I haven't done that with my other stuff, but
Those were probably the splitters. Those weren't the changeups. The ones into the ground were the splitters, probably.
No, they were changeups. I throw it, I name it. It's the rule. You throw it, you name it.
Okay.
Until Savant starts pitching for me, it's a changeup.
They have a cool like breakdown. I looked at all the moving graphs they have for your pitches. So cool.
They do, yeah. Savant does a very good job of like highlighting things for baseball nerds. I wish that like they would explain. Like, I wish you could take like Savant and like all the data that we have access to, and like we know what it means, and like explain it for your like casual baseball fan. So it's like when they see X and Z breaks on the board, they can be like, oh, that pitch was like went sideways a lot. That's probably why it's good, etc. Or that pitch had a lot of drop and it was hard. That way they maybe, shine a little bit more light on pitching instead of every time I see anything that promotes the game of baseball, it's hitters every time. We get no love.
That's
No
fair.
love.
Yeah. Okay. Kait, any last ones before I do rapid fire?
No, I might jump in with a rapid fire, but
Yeah. It's an open discussion.
This sounds like it's going to be way more my speed.
If you think the last like hard heel turn into that question was kind of off the wall, none of these are related in any way. So
I love that. Am I allowed to get off on tangents about them, or do I have
absolutely.
to answer them like right in a row?
We prefer it, actually.
Okay.
Okay. I know it's during the season, but have you seen Oppenheimer yet? And have you congratulated Tyler Glasnow for his tremendous acting performance?
Yes, he went and actually saw his own movie, said it was awesome. I am seeing it. We have an off day in Detroit. There is a theater like 2 blocks from the hotel. I'm debating, I'm gonna wait on this for me here. I think if I can make it happen, I want to see Barbie, Mission Impossible, and Oppenheimer triple feature just the entire off day.
Back to back to back, or can you take breaks?
No. Back to back to back if I can make it happen.
Okay. In what order? It's tough. I heard Barbie's sad.
I'm definitely ending with Oppenheimer. It would all be a build up to watching Tyler quote.
Yep.
I forget what it's actually from, but again, until I hear Glass say "I am become death," everything is just gonna be a long build up to that. I still don't know what in the world the Barbie movie is actually about. All I see is TikToks about people complaining that men don't get it. It was a representation of how women feel in society, etc. And I'm like, all right, I was like, well, I need to see it if I want to be able to dispute these people on TikTok.
Yeah.
With my own personal opinions. And then obviously, I think Tom Cruise is an absolute nut, but he does know how to make a very good action movie.
All he knows is one thing, and that's
I think
movies.
I got a rapid fire back for you. Is Mission Impossible the best of the action movie franchises?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The Bournes?
I think you have to put like Bourne. Actually, it kind of exists in its own like little realm because of the way that Craig's Bond went. It wasn't so much as like a true just like action movie as it was like, let's put a little deeper meaning into all this and like actually have some self-reflection on Bond. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't think I think of them in the same light. So I think Mission Impossible is its like own little entity in the action movie world.
And each one is just they get better and better.
Yeah, I would say older. After what was let me see if I can remember these names. Which one was Ghost Protocol? That was the one where he was climbing up the whatever that big ass skyscraper
Burj Khalifa.
The Burj Khalifa. Yeah. I would say I didn't the first. Maybe it's because I also have a bad ability. Like I don't do well with like movies, not necessarily that like aren't shot well, but like the older like the older a movie gets, the less likely I'm inclined to look at it in a favorable light. Maybe it's just because I love like modern filmmaking, or I've just been oversaturated with CGI. But apparently, every effect in Oppenheimer is not CGI. And I also recently learned that Homeboy planted $100,000 worth of corn simply to get the cornfield shots in Interstellar.
Oh wow, that's
Christopher Nolan.
You can't. Yeah, Nolan is. He is the only filmmaker I think of my life that I'm like I have to see what he's making. He's the only one where I'm like if Nolan comes out with a movie, I'm seeing it.
That's a quick no.
Yeah, Tarantino has made some incredible films, but like, just for me and everything that Nolan has done, like he is number one, like the only one where I'm like, he's making a movie, I have to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Yeah, because he doesn't make a lot of them. That's the directors that are like very selective with what they do. So always really, really cool.
Yes.
Yeah, Tyler Glasnow just is a dead ringer for that guy, though. I don't know how.
He is. It's incredible. Also, I don't know if did you guys watch Tenet?
No.
Did you guys see that
No,
one?
but I heard it was confusing.
Yeah, it was only confusing if you didn't pay attention. If you pay attention, it's not that confusing.
Small-minded people, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think small-minded. I think that it's not something which was weird because it was out mainly on streaming, and I think that people at home tend to not pay as good of attention to
That's
Probably.
movies, etc. And so I think that probably did a disservice to that movie.
Mhm.
But I thought it was fabulous. I loved it. I've watched it like 5 times.
Wow. Here's a good one for you. What non-baseball activity would you consider yourself to be elite at?
Putting down people for their coffee tastes.
That's a good one.
Like Miss Duncan over there.
That's actually a good one. I was like, oh, starting off the interview strong. I'm just gonna leave.
No, let's see. Ones that don't make me feel self-righteous and a bit of a prick. What would I consider myself elite at? I'm pretty good at doing crosswords. I'm a pretty good. Poche and I have our little crossword duo, and we do the New York Times every day that we have access to it. I'd say that until I wouldn't say elite, but I would say that's probably my one of my more notable skills is crossword puzzle and being good at getting the answers on Jeopardy.
What about Immaculate Grid? Have you guys?
I was literally just about
I
to ask.
suck at Immaculate Grid.
Really? Okay.
I don't. So here's the issue: is I don't know anything about baseball history, right? I just know about pitching.
That's fair.
That makes sense. Like I don't.
That's fair.
Like I'm a terrible baseball fan.
Mhm.
I'm just a fan of like baseball performance more than anything, and like developing that. So yes, that's where I'm just waiting for the Texas and Tampa one so I can see if Nate Lowe is a higher percentage or I am a higher percentage on it. Sorry, Nathaniel.
Yeah, please. I think I'm pretty sure that was one, and I'm pretty sure I used you for one of these for Tampa and Texas.
That's good.
I would like to see your all pitcher Immaculate Grid though, because that would be very, very good. Tailing off of that, the Rays when they played the Rangers this year, how cool is it seeing the Battle of the Low Brothers? And we'll even throw Brandon in there.
I love the meme, and I love people who couldn't suspend their disbelief and accept it as like we know his name's not pronounced Low for Brandon, and yet people are like there's Low. I'm like, shut up and accept the joke. It's funny.
Shorty got low.
Yes, it's funny, and I the people that were like, that's not how you say his name. Like, we know it's still funny.
It's awesome.
Yeah, those two are funny. I loved that Nate was very upset that Josh hit the homer. That one made me visibly upset. It was so funny. Yeah, that's always great. I love seeing that was always a fun series for me because I get to see people that I obviously have known for a long time. So but yeah, the battle of the lows was humorous.
Did you see the slap tag on the pickoff attempt where Nathaniel
Dude,
tried to take his arm off?
So I don't know if I was that was early. I'm pretty sure that was early on in the game. I think I was like, that was the inning I was about to walk out to the bullpen. I was like, oh my gosh. He tagged the absolute shit out of him. And hit him, I mean, just squared him up on the elbow too. It was so funny.
I think he knew he hit him too hard because the camera caught him just dying laughing.
It smacked the shit out of him.
Oh, we're a big Nathaniel Lowe podcast, friend of the pod.
Yeah, he's great. I love Nate. I don't know if he'll let me call him Nate, but after his rebrand into Nathaniel, I knew him when he was simply Nate.
You knew him when he was Twitter. He's X now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I saw one. Apparently, they don't have the handle for @X secured. Some random person has it. And the comment on the end of it was the rant of them not securing it was ready, shoot, aim.
Feels like you got to get your ducks in a row before you do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the story of Elon Twitter is that the Ducks have never been in a row.
No.
It is funny though.
Guy.
Yeah.
That guy.
So you went to the Blink 182 concert recently. I was very
Yes.
jealous. I should have saw them when they were in DC. That's gonna haunt me for the rest of my life. What are your top 5 favorite Blink songs?
Oh, buddy. Now we are in it. Now we are in it. Let me go pull up a full discography. My Blink songs are not going. I love the hits, obviously, but they're not my favorites. I would say my favorite Blink song. Of this one, I think Anthem Part 2 is probably my favorite, just overall. I'll give number 2. See, this is what I don't like about the people in Blink. So when you go to Blink Essentials, there is not one song from Neighborhoods. The Neighborhoods slander, I just do not accept. Neighborhoods is a good album,
I love Neighborhood
and
so
I will
much.
not hear otherwise. Anyway, that leads to my second favorite Blink song, which is Wishing Well. Great song. More of a deeper cut. Definitely did not play that on tour. I think presently Reckless Abandon is probably like 4 or 5. I love that one. That's another good one. Natives is definitely in my top 5 as well.
It's a good pump up song. Yeah.
Natives is a very good song. And the people that don't like Neighborhoods, just open your mind up a little bit. Open your mind up a little bit. And then I think Anthem is probably on there too, the original Anthem. Yeah,
like
one of the bestiality lyrics. That one, it's
tough. Yeah.
What a I convinced Deekman to play Family Reunion over our team speaker on our flight yesterday, which I don't know if you guys know the lyrics to Family Reunion, but you should look that up at some point or just play the song. It's it's a very interesting 2 minutes.
That's awesome.
I was trying to do this thought experiment a while back of because I've gotten so hard and heavy into Blink 182 the last year or so. I was trying to list mine out, and I feel like I'm pretty chalky for most of mine. Damn It, I Miss You, All the Small Things, After Midnight, and then The Rock Show. That's what I had for mine. But that's
After Midnight is a great song, but yeah, not a lot of deep cuts there.
No, and
all songs that you would have heard had you gone and seen them.
Mm-hmm.
All songs you would have seen.
I'm gonna go to my grave.
And
They'll probably be on tour again.
Yeah, I'm assuming that they will.
Unless Tom finds great. Aliens or
I hope that he does. I hope that he finds more aliens.
They exist.
Yeah, they're his actually. I will say, I think my favorite. It is a top 3 favorite record for me is I Empire. I will say, which is Angels and Airwaves, not Blink, but that is. If it might not be top 3, but it is for sure in the top 5. I think it's incredible. I love it.
Kait, are you a Blink fan?
I only know the most famous ones.
All the songs that Justin just listed. Those?
Yes, I was gonna say all the ones Pete was naming. I'm like, I didn't even know that was a song.
Damn It is number 1 though. I mean, that's pretty edgy, right?
Damn It is like.
It's pretty edgy.
Yeah, but it's the first. That was their first, their oldest hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't even know if I would really call it a hit. I don't know the buzz that was surrounding them in the late 90s, but yeah, Damn It's a very good song. Mm-hmm. They actually that was that they finished their show with was Damn It. Yeah.
Did you like the banter in between?
Yeah, it's great. It just sounds like us being idiots. It sounds like 8 idiots in the bullpen.
Oh man.
There might be a little more inappropriate, but yeah, it's pretty on brand.
Well, I'm going to see him next time. Ray's teammate that you would most want to have your back in a fight.
Ray's teammate that I would most want to have my back in a fight. I'm gonna say Poche. I think Poche. If there's one person that would, Poe and I, incessantly, and I mean when I say incessantly, we incessantly talk shit to each other. But he is also my number 1 teammate. Would for sure be a ride or die. It would be Colin Poche. I
like that. You need one of those guys in your corner, especially if shit hits the fan. Yandy Diaz in his arms, though, he might be up there.
I mean, yeah, and if we're talking like physicality, like Yandy is a behemoth. But yeah,
I like that.
I will say I don't think that Yandy and I are going to be in a situation together where we might be in a fight off the field. So I'm going to pick Bo just in case. I spend more time with Bo.
All right, I have two more. We're both Baker Mayfield guys, I think.
Huge Baker guy. I'm actually supposed to be going to see them in their training camp when we get back from the road trip.
That was literally my question. How many Bucs games are you going to this fall?
I definitely want to get to a couple. Yeah, my realtor actually is the realtor for some guys on the Bucs, so he is getting some of us down there for training camp on the 8th. I need to text him back. I need to see who wants to go with me.
Nice.
But yeah, that's going there, watch a little football practice, which is probably going to be more interesting than watching a football game, just because you get to see stuff that you don't normally get to see, which I always think is fun to watch for other sports.
Love it. Please report back on how Baker looks. The press clips that have come out of him in training camp this year have not been kind to him, so we need you to set the record straight.
Yeah, I think that Baker. I don't know. Will there ever be any favorable press about him? Unfortunately, I don't think that's just not going to be. It's just not going to be a thing. After he got into his spat with Colin Cowherd, I think that's just like industry wide. Let's smear. It's a smear campaign for Baker.
You guys are both headband guys, so maybe you could bond if you ever get a chance to meet.
Yeah. I need to. Junk Brands are supposed to send me some headbands, and they still haven't. So I need to figure out what's going on there and re-up my headband game.
The Ted Lasso one was cool.
I do love a good Ted Lasso. All their other ones stunk. It was really annoying.
Last question. Any questions for us?
Do I have any questions for you guys?
Turn the tables.
Turn the tables. Not really. I mean, if I have anything, usually I just it's like a spur of the moment thing. I think you should get off your John Mayer high horse and maybe mix some T Swift in, just a little bit, and then maybe mix in some 1975 as well. I think that could serve you well. I've never had anybody. Actually, do either of you guys listen to the Gaslight Anthem? That'll be my turntable question. Okay.
No.
All right. Yeah, very good bands. I think they're getting back together and putting out an album, so that'll be good. They're like more like I don't even know how to describe them. I would say Americana, but it's not the folky that I would typically like think Americana is. You guys ever considered, doing more of this where we don't talk about anything sport related?
That would be fun.
Be a fun show.
I think that there's every podcast I see with athletes wants to talk about sports, whether it's hosted by them or not hosted by them. And I think that there should be great space for just talking about random stuff.
I like it.
I think it's a welcome change, and you get lots of, you get a little more insight to personalities, etc. Yeah. What else do I have for you guys? Let me think. What was the last Pokemon game that you guys played?
It was on the Game Boy Color.
Okay, so you're looking at the latest. You're looking at Crystal, Gold, and Silver.
Yeah,
the latest.
That was all. Do you still play like Pokemon Go? Could we find you in a city?
No, you will not find me walking around the city catching augmented reality Pokemon.
Wait, there's one over there.
You will not find me doing that. If I'm going to do that, I will hop on my Switch and I will play the actual game. Yeah.
Is your walkout song still Secret Crowds?
It sure is. Nice. Let's see.
Kait, brain dump, anything.
Present hobby. I need a present hobby out of you guys because everybody knows my hobbies. It's Legos and Pokemon cards and etc.
Oh, we're a running podcast.
That's it. It's just podcast.
I'm trying.
Well,
no, running.
No. Yeah, we
run.
both.
We're big runners.
You guys run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
All right. Let's talk about this for a second because we had Brian on, and Brian said all he does is sprints because he says that sprinters are jacked, and he says that pitchers are the ones that do all the long distance running. Pete, as a pitcher,
You're not running?
No running.
Distance
Okay.
running.
Yeah. You
Why
want to do
would
a
I
nice
distance?
mile?
Why would I
Cardio.
distance run?
Cardio.
Yeah,
It's fun.
I have to go out there and be as explosive as possible for like 20 to 25 pitches. That long distance running is not that. I mean, I get distance when I like play other sports, like playing basketball, running back and forth, or like a little ultimate frisbee, or chasing after, something that's a part of another sport. But I don't know if you could convince me to go run a 5K right now.
What? You'd probably be so good at it. You have long strides. It'd take you like half the
Yeah,
time.
I did. So I ran the last time I ran more than a short, sprint type burst was our rehab group in 18 ran the Pat Tillman 5K in Tempe at ASU,
Nice.
and I smoked everybody in our rehab group in it. But yeah, that was the last time that I ran distance, and I probably could have ran it faster, but I did not.
You mean to tell me on a cool Saturday morning in the fall, you're not going to see you at the
Yeah.
Riverwalk in Tampa with the headphones on with
A cool
1975
Saturday
on.
morning. Yeah, I'm gonna be getting ready for Mizzou. I'm gonna be getting ready for the Tigers.
That doesn't
I'm
sound
gonna be out- I'm gonna
enjoyable
be
to
out-
you in a little
I'm gonna
bit?
be out making breakfast on my Blackstone, getting ready for some college football.
There's no running. There's no running.
There's no
involved.
running. There's no.
Maybe I'll hop in my heated pool and have a good time with that rather than
And
go
dunk- and
run
dunk
down
on
on
your
the
son.
Riverwalk. Yeah,
Get in the pool, just yam on your son.
I
Be-
did. I did. I have done it since too, but I did not pull the hoop down those times. So that's a big win for me.
That's one of my
Big
all-time
win for me.
favorite quotes. It's just like, you cannot be caught unaware under the rim.
No, I didn't.
He's three,
So
Pete.
this-
He's three.
I don't care. Never had the social awareness for those things.
Oh my god, it's so funny.
No, and my wife was making. She was like making fun of me, thinking she's like, "You want to make fun of me for like spraining my ankle while walking, and here you are giving yourself a black eye." And I'm like, first off, mine is hilarious. Like there's zero embarrassment for that. I thought it was hysterical after the fact. Like the story is hilarious, and the fact that it happened to me, well, probably makes it funnier because I'm just a big goofball. So I thought it was, and still do think it was hysterical.
Did you know you were going to get asked about it as soon as you showed up to work? Or did you think you could play
Oh,
off?
yeah, I mean, you can't walk around with a black eye and somebody doesn't know. Like what happened?
You get into a fight,
I don't
Pete?
know, walk around the trop with sunglasses on. Like,
Nothing to see here.
Yeah,
there's nothing here. Nothing here at all.
there's no story. So quit asking.
No, so that one was pretty funny. I thought it was hilarious. I'd do it again.
You do it.
Probably weigh the hoop down a little bit first, but yeah.
Was it a little tiny hoop, like the
No,
kid
it's
size?
it's like a full size pool hoop. Not like it doesn't like
Regulation?
stand. It doesn't. It's not like a 10 foot, but it was like backboard. Like it's a pretty like good size pool hoop, and it felt like a good size pool hoop as well.
Yeah. I first when I heard pool hoop, I'm thinking like the ones that are like 2 feet tall that like are like, oh, it's fun to like think you're dunking, but
Yeah.
like you have like a regulation sized ish.
No, so I'll send you the link to it, but it's like good size backboard. There's like 3 different settings for like in the water. Like it is a pool hoop. It's not like a regular basketball hoop.
Oh,
But like the size of the backboard is probably that of like a backyard like adjustable 10-foot hoop.
Oh, that's
Okay.
big. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a full size rim. Everything. It's not like a mini like Nerf one or anything. So yeah, that one felt pretty good.
I mean, he's got to learn some point. You can't just be camping out.
Yeah, I mean he's my son is a trip. He is. That kid is funnier than I'll ever hope to be.
Yes.
So I can't
Is
wait.
he into
until
Legos too?
Yes, he is.
Good.
Sometimes to his detriment of his behavior and or fixations on things and throwing fits about it. But I don't blame him. They're cool sets that he wants.
They are.
It is what it is. He's got, his Lego room at home or his Lego table is basically one giant Minecraft village now. He's
Minecraft.
yeah, loves it. And it works out. He doesn't know shit about Minecraft, but it works out well because it's like all like square based, right? And so it makes it easier for him to both build and then like rebuild and adjust to things that he wants. So it's fun to watch.
That's awesome.
I just picture your house as like the floor is just coated in loose Legos and you have to wear like shoes in the house.
Oh my gosh.
No, he has a huge. It's probably. I would say it's probably like the dimensions of a queen size bed, but it is like a 1.5 foot high table full, just covered in Legos.
Oh my god.
Maybe a full, but yeah, it's a pretty big table covered in Legos.
That's awesome.
I love that. Yeah, you're like, I love when you do like the step-by-step Lego builds on your Instagram stories. Those are fun.
Yes, I need to get back. I have one that I need to build with him. He found, so I have a great pyramid of Giza that I need to build, and I've been waiting until we move into our new house. And he has found it and has now been asking me every day until I left if we were going to build a pyramid set today. I'm like, dude, we need more time than what you've allotted me to build this one. I am sorry. So you're gonna have to wait until I get back if you want to actually build this.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
Ooh, last thing.
Last,
Actually,
all right, give it to me. What do we got?
So Brian's in Kansas City. I don't know if you've kept up with him.
Yes, I had missed him by a little bit because we got rained out and they got rained out, and I didn't think that he was in Kansas City until just a little bit too late. It's pretty unfortunate.
That was gonna be my question. Is that like, have you guys hung out or talked to each other? I don't know.
We texted a little bit when I was in Kansas. I haven't seen him in a while. That would have been my one chance, but I have not done that. I'm hoping he gets back into affiliated ball next year. That would be a sight for sore eyes. I'm glad that he's back on this continent full time, though.
Yeah, I think he's glad he's back on this continent too, full time.
Yes, I cannot imagine going to play overseas with a pretty young kid at home.
Yeah. He probably had a passport though, so that probably made it easier.
Yeah, you are not going overseas anytime soon. Not until the State Department approves your passport.
Yeah.
The only place I can go right now is Puerto Rico. That's the only place I can go. I play Puerto Rican winter ball.
Yeah.
But that's the reason why I never made it big, because I couldn't play in Japan or Korea because I don't have
That's why.
The only reason.
Can we revisit this? You just never thought passport. Never wanted to go outside the country.
You know what's hard is that that's the first question I get asked on first dates is how many countries have you visited, or what's your favorite international travel destination? And I'm always just I don't know, Tampa. That's kind of foreign, right?
I will say, getting down into Florida and then down into South Florida, that is definitely
that's a different country.
It's a bit of a culture shock for some.
Yeah.
Vegas, because I've seen the Eiffel Tower there. So that's
yeah. You've been to Epcot. You're a world traveler.
I've been to 10 countries and I drank in all of them. So it's just, I don't understand where. I feel like this is a new phenomenon is people obsessed with international travel. I don't know. That might be.
I think that, basically 2 years of everybody being forbidden to international travel or supposed to, not travel. I think that that's definitely gave some people the itch to then want to go travel.
Yeah.
It's just hard. I don't know. I need to do more of it. I don't know. Growing up, our vacations were like Virginia Beach. We didn't necessarily do the south of France that often. So it's just.
You didn't need it. You didn't want
I didn't really need the passport for Colonial Williamsburg. So sorry if I haven't gone to Monaco.
I've been there. That is incredible. Colonial Williamsburg. I hated that. My mother took me there. Well, my whole family did, but golly.
To Colonial Williamsburg?
Historical sites really don't do it for me. They just did not do it for me.
Not my favorite.
You would have hated family vacations, yeah?
Oh, no. Those were my family vacations.
Oh,
if my mother could find a damn historical site, we went to it, and I hated every second of it.
Civil War battlefield this summer. I don't know. Gettysburg. Yeah, that was literally so not a whole lot of passports needed.
Yeah.
It's tough. So we'll get it changed eventually. Okay. I don't want to take too much of your time. You got a big series this weekend.
Huge series.
Awesome.
3 big series in a row. We need to do well.
And you will do well.
Yes.
Hope so.
Positive vibes. Pete,
I'm
you are incredible.
Pessimistic.
I'm trying to gas you up. He's like, everything sucks. Yeah. You're my favorite recurring guest. You're my favorite guest. My favorite people. This is great. Thank you so much for always coming on.
Of course.
and
Of
for always
course.
being down to talk about Blink. So
I'll talk about just about anything that's not sport related.